Hello, it's your boy here, and today I'm doing a video for this year's 2016 Formula 1 season preview. Formula 1 is only 1 week away, and what better way to do it than to give a preview on which teams have flopped and which teams have been on top. And also I'm going to be talking about other things that are going to be relatable to this season as well. So yeah, let's get right into this video. Kicking things off with Mercedes. Mercedes have looked the best from pre-season. They have covered over 4,000 miles, which is 1,400 laps around the Catalonia circuit. To put that into context, that's from here, London, to somewhere in like Canada, something like that. So that's an insane amount. That's pretty damn crazy. So for them to do that makes me believe that they're going to be the team to beat, and really it's just going to be a repeat of last year, to be honest. So yeah, they're even so good that they even broke their car in the last few days of the session of the test when they had a transmission failure. So that really goes to show how well prepared and how organised and how well ahead they are from the rest of the pack, that they can afford to make things like that and also to fix them to be well prepared for Australia in a week's time. So yeah, expect them to be at the top as per usual from last year. So yeah. Now Ferrari brought something interesting into the table, and that was their new halo design that they brought in Barcelona. They brought in this little thing where there was this little carbon fibre thing on the front of the car, and then two straps to hold it all together. So it was very, very interesting, to be honest. I mean, I didn't really like it, to be honest. You know, it wasn't that very good. Oh, by the way, if you don't know what it looks like, here is the picture right now. Oh yeah, so to be honest, I didn't really like it. I don't really like it as of right now, to be honest. I mean, especially visibility. You got that thing on the centre of their vision. It's going to be really hard in terms of the driving, that kind of stuff, in terms of where to turn in, that kind of stuff, and it really could become a danger hazard to the drivers as well. So not really rating that design, to be honest, but at the end of the day you can't do it's really hard to develop, especially, you know, as there are so many pros and cons to each design. You know, for instance, the canopy could smoke up and it could be hard to get out in case of a fire, that kind of stuff. And also I think the technology would be a bit too far sort of I think it'd be too far away, I'd say. I think if we were going to get canopies, that kind of stuff, it would have to be in the next 5-10 years. So I don't think canopies are going to be a thing. I don't think this design is going to really work, to be honest, gathering the driver's vision, that kind of stuff. But I also think, and this might come as a selfish thing, but I feel like we should stick to open wheel. I know what you're saying, these kind of stuff, but if we can just improve the helmets, that kind of stuff, make them more sort of better in terms of their the way they get instructed, that kind of stuff, to protect the person's head, something like that. That would be pretty cool. It would really help save the drivers' lives, that kind of stuff. And also it would also improve the sexiness of the sport, the entertainment of the sport. So yeah, so I think we should keep it the way it is, like an open wheel kind of thing, but maybe more development in terms of the Hunter devices and also their helmets as well. So yeah, that's kind of my opinion on what they could do with that. But other than that, Ferrari have been Ferrari have been running strong. They were faster in the majority of testing, which is quite good. Could be a sign of a very competitive front of the field between Ferrari and Mercedes at the start of the season. But we'll have to wait and see in Melbourne, to be honest, because they ran half as much, just over half as much as Mercedes. So we'll have to wait and see what for Australia. It's going to be very, very tough. Mercedes may be just bluffing in terms of their speed, that kind of stuff, because they were sort of in the front, and then they were in the middle, and then the front again. So I don't know, we'll have to wait and see what Ferrari can do in Australia in terms of the Mercedes. So yeah. Williams have announced that they're bringing the new front wing to Australia, so that's going to be interesting, sort of taking a page out of Mercedes. They're also going to be aiming to try and get more downforce on their car, because remember in Monaco they were really struggling in terms of their sort of cornering speeds, you know, their low cornering speeds, that kind of stuff. It really was hurting them quite a lot. But hopefully now, with the focus now on more downforce, they should be really much better in terms of like Monaco, Singapore, that kind of races. So we should see them be more competitive and really take the fight to the Ferraris and the Mercedes, hopefully, if all goes well. They've also brought in a reserve drivers as well, in the form of Paul di Resta. It was announced a few days ago, so that was good. I'm happy to see Paul di Resta in the Williams, in Formula 1, back in Formula 1. He has taken a sabbatical from last year, and now he's back in Formula 1, but only as a reserve driver, so that's good to see. Hopefully he'll be racing pretty damn soon. It'd be nice to see Paul di Resta back in Formula 1, because he only had a little bit and then afterwards was booted out of Force India because of Sergio Perez, so yeah. But also they have run some pretty good mileage. They were like the 3rd or 2nd in terms of like mileage, so they've been kind of around the same sort of category as Ferrari, so they've been running really strong. They could be a lot more stronger than they were last year, and they could really take the fight to Ferrari. And maybe, just maybe, Mercedes, because Williams were kind of like, they were on some occasions, they were even fastest, but mind you, you know, people could be running different engines, fuel, engine settings, that kind of stuff, so we're going to just have to wait and see what Australia brings, but certainly Williams looking very, very optimised and very, very prepared, well prepared for Australia this year. In terms of Red Bull, they have changed their structure. They are now known as Red Bull Tag Hainan. They're still Red Bull Racing, but they're partnered with Tag Hainan, which is their engine supplier. But really, it's just a Renault engine, so yeah, so kind of like a renewal from Renault, so yeah, but they like to be secretly called Tag Hainan, so yep. Yeah, Red Bull have been running strong in testing. They ran about over 800 laps, same amount as Ferrari and Williams, so expect them to be competitive around that sort of pace as Williams and Red Bull and Ferrari. But mind you, Christian Horner did say that they were predicting to be competitive around about Great Britain, sort of Hungary time. So I don't know what their pace is going to be on the first race. Hopefully it won't be as bad as Red Bull fear, to be honest, because last year Red Bull were really struggling. They were at the back end of the top 10. They were really nowhere. They had reliability problems after reliability problems. So hopefully with this sort of renewal of Renault, sort of their development with Tag Hainan, that kind of stuff, hopefully they'll be much better, much well prepared, much faster than they were last year, and hopefully we will see a much more revitalised Red Bull. And by the way, their livery looks insanely nice. Just take a look at this photo right here. I mean, honestly, that looks like the best livery from the 2016 field, to be honest, because that looks so sexy. I love the way that they've used the colours on their Red Bull. Looks really, really nice. So, yeah, so excited to see what Red Bull can do. Hopefully it won't be as bad as they feared going into the first race. So yeah, especially for Daniel Ricciardo going into his home race next week. Hopefully it won't be bad news for him. So yeah. Now moving from Red Bull to their sister team, Toro Rosso. Now, Toro Rosso have changed their car quite a lot. They are now running with a Ferrari engine as to Renault because of the Red Bull issues, that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Toro Rosso, they've done really well. They had sort of like a secret car with like no livery, that kind of stuff at the start, and then on the second test, showcase their livery. And the livery looks quite nice. I do like the look of it. So yeah, they ran about over 400 laps, which was a bit disappointing, to be honest, gathering that they were so strong last year. It was a bit of a shame that that they didn't get a lot of laps on their cars, but hopefully, hopefully they will be competitive going into Australia. Hopefully they'll produce sort of the same performance as we saw last year, especially from Max Verstappen, who had a really impressive rookie season, beating his teammate pretty much every single race and every single qualifying. He was so quick in the car. You know, he did some banzai overtakes, that kind of stuff. Hopefully we get to see that more this year as well. So yeah, and also for Sainz as well. Hopefully he makes a lot more improvements this year. Last year he was really struggling in terms of his reliability of the car. His reliability really sort of hurting his performances during the season, which really cost him to beat Max on a number of occasions. So hopefully this year we could see less from Carlos Sainz in terms of his reliability problems, and hopefully we can actually see Carlos showcase his talent that has gotten me the high hopes that he had from Formula Renault. So yeah. Force India have done really well in testing, sort of a continuation from last year, to be honest. Because remember, last year they were really strong, really strong, up there in the top 10 pretty much every single race from, I would say, Russia. So they've been doing really well, and it's pretty much a continuation from that. They've been running really strong, no problems whatsoever. They've ran about over 200 laps. I think it was about 230, something like that. I don't know, probably 200 to like 400. So they ran really well. That's still good. I mean, it's not as good as like Ferrari and Williams, but at least they haven't had any like reliability problems, that kind of stuff. So it's been really well for Force India. They also brought in like a test driver in the form of Alfonso CS Jr., who like ran in GP3 in 2014. I think he like scored 12th, 11th, which is like his best. So I don't know why they got him in there. It was kind of weird because all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Alfonso Celeste Jr. just was in the car and was testing for Force India. So a bit weird, to be honest. And he is their test driver for Force India. So yeah, it was a bit surprising. I thought they would have brought in someone like I thought they would bring in someone like, I don't know, Alexander Rossi. I don't know. I mean, well, Alexander Rossi's part of Manor, so I don't know. It's really hard to say because like most of what I can think of from GP2 and GP3 are from different teams. So yeah. So I don't know. I guess maybe someone in the front end or something like that. Maybe like PF Gasly or something like that. So yeah. But nevertheless, they've been running well. They have been doing a lot of mileage, that kind of stuff. Not as much as Williams, like I said, but still pretty damn good. And they're expecting to have major upgrades for Bahrain and Spain. So Bahrain is the second round, so it's after Australia to Spain, which is the fifth round of the championship. So yeah, so between round 2 to round 5. So yeah, expect new major upgrades around that time. So yeah, but nonetheless, looking really strong into the season opener, and Perez and Hulkenberg looking very motivated going into 2016. Another year for both of them. So hopefully they can perform the same as they were doing last year. So yeah. Now in terms of McLaren have been the most improved team of the field, to be honest. They have run over 700 laps, 100 less than the Ferrari and the Williams. So they've been running very strong. Just over the Mercedes, just over half of the Mercedes. So they've been running really strong. They have improved their lap times as well. They've been like sort of in the midfield section, maybe sometimes in the top. So they've been running really strong. Their car looks really nice. Not a lot of problems whatsoever. So yeah, expect them to be the most improved and maybe to be right up there with the likes of Williams or Red Bull, something like that, you know. So I'm excited to see what McLaren can do. They're expecting more upgrades for Australia, which is going to give them the full 2016 spec. So I'm excited to see what that's going to be like. Are they going to make changes to that front wing, rear wing? So we're going to have to see for Australia. A lot of big plans in Formula 1 are going to be for Australia. So yeah, but the one I'm most interested in is McLaren. What they're going to bring. Apparently they're saying it might be their engine, so yeah, and if it is, that's awesome. They've got to focus on their engine, to be honest. Don't focus on their aerodynamics or bodywork or chassis, just focus on the engine, because last year that was their main problem, their engine. So if they can make improvements to that, maybe increase the power, increase the reliability, that is going to give them the edge that they need to get back up the field. So yeah, so I wish McLaren all the best of luck going into Australia in terms of their power units, yeah. And also as well, they had a few issues as well. I forgot to mention that they had a bit of issues in terms of like the hydraulic problems, that kind of stuff. But hopefully that should be ironed out, ready for Australia, so yeah. Moving on to Sauber. Sauber were kind of the latest in terms of their unveiling of their car. They brought it up on the second test, so sort of like day 2, day 3, something like that. So yeah, so they didn't get much running with their new car, but they did get a lot with their old car. So hopefully that will be good in terms of their development of the new car. So yeah, because it kind of does look the exact same as the old car. But I reckon there must be some like changes in terms of the inside, that kind of stuff, like it is with the Williams and like it is with the Mercedes as well. So yeah, so hopefully it isn't the case in terms of their like inside, in terms of like their performance, that kind of stuff. Hopefully there is a really massive change, because last year they were really struggling in terms of their performance. They were not up there as much as Force India or Toro Rosso. So hopefully this is a sign of good things to come for that team. So yeah. But despite that, they did over 500 laps, which is pretty good of them. They weren't that very fast, I would say, as well. They were only about like 6, I'd say, on average. So not very good, but hopefully it can be improved for Australia. Nazi and Ericsson are kept for the team. They haven't announced anything in terms of the test driver yet. I don't know whether it's me not knowing a lot about Sauber or whatnot, but from my initiative, they haven't got a test driver, so they're going to have to dig deep on. They're going to have to find someone who can be their test driver. Hopefully, maybe someone from GP2. But like I said, Nazi and Ericsson, nice to see them back. Hopefully they can do some good from what they done last year, especially from Nazi, especially from what he did in Australia last year, where he got a 5th place. Hopefully that could be the same for this year. So yeah. But yeah, looking very good for Sauber this year going into the season. Oh, what's this? Looks like we got a bit of a change to the lighting. Yeah, the IndyCar was on, so yeah, I had to go quickly watch that, but now it's over, so yeah, let's continue. Oh, on a side note, IndyCar review, I'm going to be doing that all season long. Next one will be next week for St. Pete, so yeah, look forward to that, but let's continue with this video. So Renault unveiled their proper car in the first test, because earlier this year they had like the show car to really showcase their new livery earlier in February. So they unveiled it on the first day of the first test. So yeah, and it looks awesome. The car looks really, really nice and sleek. I hope they keep that livery for Australia, because they are planning to change it. Hope not. Hope it's good. But if they are, then hopefully the new livery will look good. So yeah. But despite that, they were well off the pace. We're only 5 seconds off. But mind you, that's what to be expected with testing. To be honest, everyone using different tyres, you know, different engines, that kind of stuff. So don't expect don't expect what we're going to see in Australia, pretty much. So yeah, and also got from bad to worse, 76 laps in the first 2 days, which was god awful. But mind you, Magnussen saying that the car was very driver friendly, so that means that the car was very nice to drive, no problems whatsoever. no jerkiness, no oversteering moments. So yeah, so kind of like what we saw from McLaren from last year. Remember McLaren from last year, where they struggled with the rear end. No, when they struggled with reliability and power issues. That's kind of what we're seeing from Renault. They're struggling with power issues, and also a reliability issue. So hopefully it can be put in check in time for Australia, and hopefully they are quick in Australia as well. So yeah. Palmer and Magnussen are in the team. Magnussen, it's nice to see him in the team. He's been out for a year. Bit of a shame, to be honest, because he looked very good in the McLaren, and to be kicked off McLaren was pretty much a shame. But now to be back in Formula 1, to be picked up by Renault is awesome. Excited to see what he can do this year. Palmer, GP2 champion from 2014. Excited to see what he can do. He's very, very quick, very, very consistent. We've seen him race before. He's quite good in his racecraft. So, yeah, so they're going to be the ones to watch in terms of the racing, that kind of stuff. It'll be interesting to see who gets the best of each, because Magnussen and Palmer are very, very close in relatively in speed. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who's going to come out on top between Palmer and Magnussen, and also how the Renault's going to be during the season as well. So yeah. Now for Haas, they had a great looking car. They announced their car. When was this? It was about a week before the test. They unveiled their car. The car looked absolutely beautiful. Take a look at this. This just looks absolutely beautiful. So yeah, the car looks absolutely beautiful, and it runs really, really well. Probably the best debut ever in Formula 1, to be honest, because their car ran absolutely well, despite despite a few teething problems during the first two tests. They ran completely well. They put in a lot of laps. Their car had good reliability. And yeah, that's all I can say. They were so good in terms of their reliability and their mileage. I mean, I know they only put in about just shy of 500, but at least their pace is relatively good. And at least they haven't had a lot of teething troubles, I'd say. So yeah, all in all, looking good, and I'm expecting them to be in the midfield, to be honest. They've got a lot of budget, especially from NASCAR, that kind of stuff, because Gene is part of that NASCAR clan, as well as the Formula 1 clan as well. So yeah, so all looking good for this American team. They've got Grosjean on there. Excited to see what he can do in a new team since Lotus, which is now Renault. So yeah, excited to see what he can do in this new team. We've got Esteban Gutierrez. He took a year off last year from Sauber, dumping him. So yeah, so it's going to be a really interesting season, particularly with Roman Grosjean. I'm excited to see how he'll cope in a new team, in a new sort of up-and-coming and developing team. And also to see what Haas can do as well, as a team as well, to see how they'll perform in the first race, how they'll be compared to the others as well. So yeah, very good, very good times ahead for Haas at the moment. So yeah. Last but not very least is Manor. Now Manor had a lot to say in terms of their 2016 season. They have unveiled their car on the first day of the test, like Renault did. But their livery had been changed, and their livery looks absolutely spectacular. It looks absolutely awesome. Love that livery. It looks really nice. So yeah, they got two new drivers, Pascal Wehrlein and Rio Haryanto. Pascal Wehrlein, we all pretty much knew it was going to be a thing, to be honest, because of the Mercedes partnership from Manor. So yeah, that was the thing. Rio, bit of a surprise, but mind you, kind of deserved it, because he was quite quick in GP2. It'd been nice to see Van Dorn in Manor, but whatever, it is Rio. So yeah, and he's actually the first Indonesian driver in F1 history, so good on him, buddy. Good on him to get into Formula 1 there. They are now privately owned, So no John Booth and Graham Lowe, that they have gone to WEC to form their own sort of Manor WEC team. So yep. The car's been running well. It produced about over 400 laps, which was pretty damn good. Not a lot of problems. I mean, only from Haryanto, who made a few mistakes. So yep. But surprisingly, apparently they said that he was well off the pace of Wehrlein in testing, which kind of is a bit sort of, I don't know. I'm trying to find the word. It's really kind of worrisome, to be honest, because you never know. Haryanto could be well off the pace. It could be true, and he could be well off the pace. And I really hope this ain't the case. Hopefully, I think this will probably just be lies, and I think it will just be like engine or tyres, that kind of stuff. And I think going into the first race, I think it'll be very, very close between Wehrlein and Haryanto, as it is throughout the whole field. So yeah, so I think it will be close between Haryanto and Wehrlein, especially as Haryanto has been very, very quick in GP2. Wehrlein being 2015 DTM champion, so that's good to. So that's so we kind of knew it was going to happen. So yeah, and plus he was like with Mercedes, he was like closely partnered with Mercedes. So yeah, so so that's, you know, so that's really a good lineup, I would say, to be honest. And like I said, the car's been running good, and yeah, we'll have to see see how the car is going into the first race. So very, very optimistic to the Manor team. Excited to see what they can do during the season. Hopefully they'll be quick and very, very competitive as well. So yeah. Just real quick before we end it, F1 quality system. I talked briefly on this on the Deep Talks episode. Go check that out right here. There we go. Just real brief. Bit of a stupid idea, to be honest. Would have loved it if it went back to the old system. So yeah. Safety in F1, I think it should be more improved. We shouldn't be saying, oh, like, let's keep it the way it is, because at the end of the day, Formula 1's an ever developing company and sport. We should be continuing to advance and develop in our safety. So yeah. New tyre rules. So basically, you get 3 sets of tyres rather than 2. So you get the Ultra Soft, which is brand new to the 2016 season, along with the usual Super Soft, Soft, Medium, Hard, and if it gets wet, Intermediate and Wet. So yep. New and returning races. So Azerbaijan is going to be a twilight race. I'm excited about that. It's going to be a really sick race. Excited to see that take place. Also Hockenheim. I'm excited. I'm also happy that's coming back. It was a bit of a shame when that when it wasn't introduced. It wasn't featured in the 2015 calendar. But I'm happy that Germany's back. Formula 1 needs Germany, and Germany needs F1. So yep. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got. So those are sort of the key things that are going to be taking place in the 2016 season. Those are my previews, those are my little predictions, that kind of stuff for the 2016 season, which will be getting underway next week in Australia. I'll be doing a review for that for sure. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, then hit the like button below, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Enjoy your boy, I'm out. Peace.